I just couldn't believe it, and it was so strange. I don't remember much because it was so strange.
En mä nyt kauhean usein ole nähnyt niin omistautunutta, poliittisesti aatteelle omistautunutta henkilöä niin kuin 14-vuotiaana.
Ja siinä vaiheessa on Pekka siellä lasiovilla. Mä näen sen ekan kerran ja mä tajuan, että mähän tunnen tämän tekijän.
On June 4th, 1989, Pekka-Eric Auvinen was born in Tuusula, a sub-region of Finland's capital, Helsinki. His father, Ismo Auvinen, worked for a national railway company, and his mother, Mikaela Vuodio, worked in a hospital as a healthcare professional. Pekka wouldn't be the only child, as his parents would later have another boy. His family had lived in Helsinki but then decided to move to a more quiet area and moved into a small neighborhood in Jokela. Pekka was said to be a very sunny and happy child. He was kind, calm, and often shy to everyone around him and never seen angry at anyone. When he came to school, teachers had considered him to be a very well-behaved student. While Pekka was shy, he was talkative to those who spoke to him one-on-one. One of Pekka's teachers, Janne, said that while Pekka was a good student, he also stood out from everyone else at school. He was heavily interested in history, and he recalls that Pekka had no friends whatsoever. During free time in the evening, he played mini-golf with Pekka because he had nobody else. He believed Pekka's parents were strict at home, and he considered them to be overprotective. Near the ending of a school year, Pekka went to a school camping trip, and Janne said he forgot to bring along his work phone with them. When he got back after a few hours, he had about 10 missed calls from Pekka's father, and it was because this was the very first time Pekka was away from his home for a night. This was around when Pekka was only 12 years old. Janne also mentions that Pekka believed that the other students were inferior because of how the other kids behaved compared to him, and we will learn more about this later on, as Pekka himself has said that he was evolved one step above. Another teacher by the name of Kim says that around the 8th or 9th grade, when Pekka was just 14, he came to school in a suit and would carry the works on Karl Marx with him, as well as Lenin's Little Red Book. Pekka was a student of his, and he mentions that they had a discussion about North Korea in class one day, and Pekka was very open about his opinion on North Korea's system. He strongly believed dictatorship is good and that people could be oppressed to serve a system without any human rights. He would debate with Pekka on the subject, but he would stand his ground. As Kim himself said, he was quite unshakable in his opinions. He couldn't admit he could be wrong or that there would be anything to rectify in his opinions. No one in class supported him in discussions, and because of that, this made him stand out from the crowd even more, but this didn't make him back down on his opinions. But years down the line, Kim says that students have told him that Pekka changes political views from communism to National Socialism. He couldn't help but ask Pekka why. According to Kim, Pekka said he was not in favor of either, he was just simply studying both ideologies. With Pekka standing out from the crowd, he began to wonder how did other students treat him. We know he didn't have any friends. At least, that's what the last two teachers had stated, but one student says otherwise. A former student, Juho, says, quote, "I know he had friends at school, even good friends. I can't remember who his friends were, but he did have friends though." Now, he was asked if he had seen or heard Pekka being bullied at school. He says he never noticed nor heard any rumors about Pekka being mistreated in school. But then, a few seconds later would say this: "I don't think he was bullied more than others, not that much. I mean, everyone is bullied at school in some way." He continues to say that he thinks Pekka was a bit oversensitive based on how he would react to the teasing. Still, Juho says that there wasn't anything about Pekka that really stood out, and if there was, he says it was Pekka's long leather coat that he would wear often. Other than that, he was just an ordinary guy. Now, Kim has stated that he has heard about the bullying, especially around the time when Pekka was in middle school, but he continues to say that he has been an instructor at Jokela High School for 12 years at the time of this question being asked. And with that, he goes on to say that during those 12 years of teaching there, he has only seen one fight, while back in his time, there were a lot of fights. So if there really was any bullying happening in this school, you'd hear about it. So he says if Pekka really was bullied here, then the kids were sneaky about it. He does believe that it's possible he was picked on due to his radical beliefs, but it wasn't done to hurt him. It's all done in a playful manner. None of the last two were able to go into detail about the supposed rumors they had heard, but Janne did discuss about one rumor he had heard. The story was that one of Pekka's teachers had called his parents and arranged a meeting with them. Once they met, the teachers advised Pekka's parents that it would be best if he had started to dress like the rest of the students. If he wore jeans instead of straight pants, he would fit in better, and people would finally stop picking on him for being so different. His parents disagreed, and he continued to wear straight pants throughout primary and elementary school. Unfortunately, we never get to find out if this was Pekka's choice to dress this way or his parents forced him. But based on my research, his parents never left a comment if this story was true or not. However, his parents did share stories regarding to their son getting bullied. They said that kids would both physically and mentally attack him, throw him across the halls, and call him names. His father mentions that Pekka was riding his bicycle on his way home from school and one of the kids shot him with a BB gun. Another time they pointed a laser at his eyes. In class, students would write on the blackboard calling him names and the class would laugh at him. His mother said that Pekka never had a true friend and no one ever wanted to play games with them or even hang out with them outside. This was when he was in lower secondary school. During the holidays, he would ask his mom, "Mom, why don't I have any friends?" His mom suggested going out and getting into some hobbies and trying to make friends that way, but he had no interest in the things people his age were into. So with that, she did say that he was unusual. Pekka's relationship with his parents was normal. There was never any sort of conflict at home, and he was quiet, but the bullying only caused Pekka to isolate further. Now regarding to all the stories about people bullying Pekka, none of these stories were first-hand experiences, but one former student, Auvina, admits that her friends would pick on Pekka and she would ease along because everybody picked on him. But in her words, it was such a small-scale thing. Because she didn't know him well, she never intervened when she witnessed Pekka getting picked on. With the students knowing Pekka's interest in communism and later National Socialism, students would poke fun at him by saying things like, "There goes the communist again." And according to Alvina, Pekka didn't make this any easier for him because, as I mentioned earlier, he would carry communist books around and would be seen reading them. He was also called a Nazi and as well as the briefcase man due to him walking around campus with a leather briefcase. Lastly, Pekka tended to blush a lot, so this was another thing that made him a target along with his insecurities. Just like Janne's story, Alvina does bring up that Pekka's parents would often contact the school and people believed it was due to him getting picked on frequently, so he built his reputation being a mama's boy. As his parents would show up to intervene, you can only imagine this would make things worse. His parents tried to help him the best that they could. They had taken him to see a doctor where Pekka was diagnosed with a panic disorder, a fear of social situations. So in April of 2006, when he was 16, he was prescribed antidepressants, but his mother said that it didn't seem that his medication was helping at all, as she didn't notice any difference in her son's behavior. Between December 2006 and January 2007, she would ask the doctor if her son could be referred to an adolescent psychiatric clinic to get therapy, but the doctor told her no, as there is a 6-month waiting time there, and what Pekka had been diagnosed is too mild for him to get admitted. Instead, the doctor just simply increased his dosage. His parents felt like they were on their own now to help their son and tried to give him a lot of support at home. His mom says that she thought if her son truly was a mild case as the doctor stated, then maybe there really isn't anything to worry about. March 15, 2007, Pekka created a YouTube channel under the alias NaturalSelector89. There aren't any archive screenshots of his first account. However, people managed to archive a few of his videos. Now, I don't know exactly how many videos he had uploaded, but from what I was able to find, only 28 of his videos were archived. Nearly all of his videos were still images and text relating to politics or religion. But there were a few videos of him speaking, and in 2, he speaks directly to a camera. I couldn't find out the exact date, but after uploading at least over 100 videos on his account, Pekka would finally create an introduction video.
Hello everyone, this is me, NaturalSelector89, talking to you, friends and haters and everyone else. I got this idea of making an introduction video to my channel, since I already have over 130 videos and not an introduction video yet, so I guess it's a good time to make one. And this is it, an introduction video to my channel. I guess I have not much to say right now, but I will make more talking videos in the future. And until then, I will continue making my usual videos, which I hope you have enjoyed as well. I guess this is all for now, but I'll see you later and out.
In the other video, he goes on to talk about religion. You can barely make out what he says as the song Antichrist by Slayer is played in the background, but thanks to the person who uploaded the video, they commented what was being said. He goes on a rant about religion, and I find the ending of his rant to be the most interesting. You are worshipping wrong and fictional gods. The real God is sitting right here talking to you. I am the God and the Antichrist of my own life. Fuck their beliefs, fuck their prophets, fuck their spirit, and fuck those gods. And the video continues with a compilation of images of burning churches. Many users here have reported that Pekka had uploaded many videos of violent killers and incidents, such as the Columbine Massacre, serial killer Jeffrey Dahmer, Timothy McVeigh, the bombing during the 2003 Iraq invasion, the Waco siege, and the Tokyo subway sarin attack. He would also admit that he was a fan of social Darwinism, and on April 16, 2007, Pekka had expressed joy after hearing about the Virginia Tech shooting. Pekka had beef with YouTuber TJ Kirk, aka TheAmazingAtheist, and I don't know how exactly this whole drama started, but I did find a screenshot of Pekka insulting TJ, calling him a fat loser ape. TJ had uploaded a video titled "Natural Selector is a Subpar Human," and that video is unfortunately unavailable. However, on June 7, 2007, TJ would upload a video where he would call out a few YouTubers, warning others that these YouTubers are people you need to keep an eye on. And Pekka was one of them.
Well, they're just really dumb. They're just incredibly stupid. It's really kind of sad to watch them try to justify themselves. A lot of them believe in what they call social Darwinism, or survival of the fittest, and they always list Darwin as their hero. But there's a few that probably would warrant some sort of investigation. And I'm not the kind of person that would report them, but if you are, by all means do so, because some of these people facing the authorities about their beliefs on these matters would be just fine by me. You have to wonder if they might not be potential dangers. And I think they should be investigated as potential dangers. Not go to jail, of course, not be charged with anything. But I think that you know, those people are the kind of people you want to be keeping your eye on. We're always talking about warning signs, and could we have seen it coming? Well, you know what? If you want to look for warning signs, there they are. Those are your fucking warning signs. Investigate those fucking people. If you take it too far, then everyone who plays violent video games, everyone who likes violent movies, everyone who is even just fascinated by violent people, not admiring them, just fascinated by them, and I happen to be among them.
On October 19, 2007, his account was suspended, so he created a new one that same day. Sturmgeist89 would be his new username. Why his channel was deleted, I couldn't find out why. As it says in his bio, YouTube had suspended his account. But there is a screenshot of his profile, which is what you're seeing now, and he posted this video titled NaturalSelector89 Is Back. Pekka would upload the same type of content and including some videos of him playing Codename 47. Pekka would eventually become friends with a girl from Germany who was a frequent user on YouTube. She went by the username Tanashil. This was during the summer of 2007, and the two had strong emotions towards each other. However, around fall, the online relationship had ended when Tanashia left Pekka for another boy by the name of Steve she met online, and this clearly crushed Pekka. In fall of 2007, Kim says he noticed some obvious changes from Pekka, such as not attending Kim's class anymore. Whenever he did speak to Pekka about not attending class, he would show up the following day. Looking back at it now, Kim says Pekka was clearly distraught and unwell, but at the time, it wasn't noticeable. In August of 2007, some students had noticed that his behavior was unusual and had reported it to a youth worker, and the youth worker would receive many similar reports up until October of that year. It was said that Pekka was threatening other students that they would die as a result of a white revolution. This led students to believe he was a danger to not only himself, but to others as well. The youth worker had talked to Pekka 3 times and never showed any signs of potentially being violent. The youth worker had discussed with the head teacher of the school, who was already aware of Pekka's words and would keep his eye on him. The school authorities were not able to contact Pekka's parents since Pekka was 18. Around October that year, Pekka received his gun license, and he received it because he was a registered member of the Helsinki Shooting Club since August 31st, 2007, and attended a training session that lasted an hour. On November 2nd, he went to a gun store looking to purchase his first weapon. The 2 employees said that he seemed very normal, asked normal questions that anyone would ask when buying their first gun. Pekka ended up purchasing a .22 caliber, which was a popular weapon at the time, as well as ammunition. One of the employees recalls that Pekka purchased 1,000 rounds, 2 boxes carrying 500 rounds, since it was cheaper to buy it in bulk. The same day, he posted a video titled Me and Catherine, Catherine being the name of his new gun. Someone under the name of IKillYouAll667 left a comment saying, "Wow, you named your gun? You're getting to be more and more like Eric. Also, if you're planning to kill people, you should get a better caliber. 22s can do damage, but there are better guns to get. You need more ammunition too. If need be, you can try to get something illegally." Someone else responds to this comment going into detail how much damage a .22 pistol can cause. If you shoot someone in the head at close range with a .22, rather than going straight throughout the other side, the bullet will ricochet inside the person's skull, causing about as much damage as a .45 hollow point without the huge mess. Pretty wicked. Now, really quickly, outside of YouTube, I found an image of a post Pekka made sometime in 2006 about North Korea in an unknown website. The subject reads, "Greetings from Finland." His message follows, "Hello comrades, my name is Pekka-Eric Auvinen and I'm a student from Finland. Few years ago, I was one of those who thought DPRK was some kind of evil dictatorship without any human rights and building nuclear weapons to threaten the world. But then I visited some Finnish website about DPRK. I found out image that Western media is giving is totally false and the system in DPRK is very different than Western media. In my country, newspapers talk about evil, poor and brutal communist dictatorship. It's good that there is an International Korean Friendship Association which shows the truth about DPRK. I am loyal to DPRK and the Juche idea. When I talk about DPRK in my classes in senior high school, they think I'm crazy because I admire DPRK, but the media here is very good making propaganda and most of us here think the same like I before. But now, I know the truth and it is an honor to be a part of this great organization. Solidarity to DPRK, Korea is one." On November 5th, 2007, Pekka would upload another video on his channel titled, "Just Testing My Gun." Yuho had actually seen this video and said, "I thought, what a clown. Why does he post things like that?" Pekka had another friend named Vaula that he met through IRC Galleria, which is a social networking website based in Finland. They both had shared interest in mass shooters as they met in a group called Dylan Klebold and Eric Harris, the two shooters of Columbine High School. That same day on November 5th, Vaula said she had a lengthy conversation with Pekka. He started the conversation by saying, "I am full of hate and I love it." A quote from Eric Harris. She mentions that Pekka said something alarming. "I'm thinking about doing it." He didn't mention what it is, but that's all he said, and she started to question him to get more details. She had a feeling he was referring that he wanted to do a school shooting, since she had seen the photos and videos of him holding his pistol. She asked, "When are you going to do it?" He replied, "Yesterday, I thought I was going to do it today. And today, I think I'm going to do it tomorrow." She asked if he had a plan. Pekka said that his goal is to kill 1 to 5 people if he was lucky. More if he was really lucky. Then he was going to set the principal's office on fire. Even with all of this, Vaula didn't think he was serious. His comment of setting the principal's office on fire was so absurd to her that it came off as some crazy fantasy of his. The next day, they messaged each other again and she says he was acting strange. His sentences were shorter than usual, like he was nervous. He ended the night telling her, "I need to go and think. Good night." At some point around this time, Pekka had tried to apologize to Tanashil for his behavior. He also sent a message to the Amazing Atheist, apologizing of all the aggressive messages he had ever sent to him. Now onto the morning of November 7, 2007, Pekka would upload his last video on his channel. Pekka would miss his first class and was surfing the internet at 8:37 a.m. Nearly an hour later at 9:33 a.m., he uploaded his final video titled Jokela High School Massacre, 11/7/2007. In the video, it starts with an image of his school, followed by a red image of him holding his pistol, and again, another image of him holding his pistol. In the background, the song Stray Bullet by KFMDM was playing. Just a few days prior, Pekka had uploaded a file package on rapidshare.com, which contained images of himself, his pistol, his school, one undisclosed music file, and 3 documents both in Finnish and English. The first document is the attack information. Event: Jokela High School Massacre. Targets: Jokelan Lukio, students and faculty. Society: humanity, human race. Attack type: mass murder, political terrorism. Although I choose the school as target, my motives for the attack are political and much deeper, and therefore, I don't want this to be called only as school shooting. The second document would contain what he hates and what he likes. What I hate / what I don't like: equality, tolerance, human rights, political correctness, hypocrisy, ignorance, enslaving religions and ideologies, antidepressants, TV soap operas and drama shows, rap music, mass media, censorship, political populist, religious fanatics, moral majority, totalitarianism, consumerism, democracy, pacifism, state mafia, alcoholics, TV commercials, and human race. What I do love / what I do like: existentialism, self-awareness, freedom, justice, truth, moral and political philosophy, personal and social psychology, evolution science, political incorrectness, guns, shooting, BDSM, computers, internet, aggressive electronic and industrial rock and metal music, violent movies, FPS computer games, sarcasm, irony, black humor, macabre art and serial killer cases, natural disasters, and eugenics. The third document would now be his manifesto titled How Did Natural Selection Turn into Idiocratic Selection? It's 3 pages long and I won't be reading the whole thing, only the parts I found to be interesting. I will leave a link in the description if you want to read the whole thing yourself. Today, the process of natural selection is totally misguided. It has reversed. Human race has been devolving very long time for now. When I look at people I see every day in society, school, and everywhere, I can't say I belong to the same race as the lousy, miserable, arrogant, selfish human race. No, I have evolved one step above. Not all human lives are important or worth saving. Only superior individuals should survive while inferior should perish. Majority of people in society are weak-minded, masses that act like programmed robots and accept voluntarily slavery. But not me. I am self-aware and realize what is going on in society. I have a free mind. You can say I have a God complex. Sure, then you have a group complex. I am actually godlike. Here are the 3 kinds of humans according to Pekka. There are 3 kinds of human personality types in this world: individualistic human, manipulative human, and mass human. And lastly, we have the section Total War Against Humanity. Life is just a meaningless coincidence, result of long process of evolution and many several factors, causes, and effects. However, life is also something that an individual wants and determines it to be. And I'm the dictator and god of my own life. And me, I have chosen my way. I am prepared to fight and die for my cause. I, as a natural selector, will eliminate all who I see unfit, disgraces of human race, and failures of natural selection. You might ask yourselves, why did I do this and what do I want? Well, most of you are too arrogant and close-minded to understand. You would probably say that I am insane, crazy, psychopath, criminal, or crap like that. No, the truth is I am just an animal, a human, an individual, a dissident. I have had enough. I don't want to be part of this fucked up society. Human race is not worth fighting for or saving, only worth killing. I am ready to die for a cause I know is right, just and true. I will rather fight than die than live a long, unhappy life. And remember that this is my war, my ideas, and my plans. Don't blame anyone else for my actions than myself. Don't blame my parents or my friends. I told nobody about my plans and I always kept them inside my mind only. Don't blame the movies I see, the music I hear, the games I play, or the books I read. No, they had nothing to do with this. This is my war. One-man war against humanity, governments, and weak-minded masses of the world. No mercy for the scum of the earth. Humanity is overrated. It's time to put natural selection and survival of the fittest back on tracks. Justice renders to everyone his due. Signed, Pekka-Eric Auvinen. At 11:28 a.m., he would log off from his computer for the last time. He got onto his bicycle and headed straight to his school carrying his .22 pistol. He would arrive at approximately 11:37 a.m., and it was lunchtime for the upper secondary students. He enters the basement through the door below the school canteen. He came across an upper secondary student in the corridor and shot him, killing his first victim at 11:42 a.m. He then proceeded to go into the bathroom by him. There were students who heard the shooting but didn't recognize it as a gun going off, and as they checked to see what the noise was, they saw the dead student on the ground. Their first thought was that maybe he had fallen and hit his head hard. One student proceeds to call at 11:43 a.m. to the Emergency Response Center, or the ERC. The ERC labeled this case as a fall and sent out 2 ambulances at 11:44 a.m. Pekka walked back out standing in the bathroom doorway when he then shot and killed 2 more. The school's nurse rushed downstairs and noticed that the students were shot. She immediately yells at the students to run out of the school as there was a shooting going on. She then proceeds to call the ERC as well, but while she was on the phone, Pekka had killed yet another student just outside the same bathroom where he killed the others. Pekka then chases after the school's nurse. He shot and killed her as she was trying to escape through the corridor. After killing her, he kills another student. In just 4 minutes since he killed his first victim, Pekka had now killed 6 people. At the same time, the ERC realized there was a gun involved and alerted the police. This case changed from a fall to a shooting. At 11:47 a.m., the head teacher was notified of the shooting and made an announcement over the PA system telling everyone to stay in the classrooms and that no one is allowed to leave. As people started to hide in the classrooms, Pekka shot 53 times in the corridor. He approached the classroom door that Auvina was in. She says he was shouting, "I will kill you all," and began banging on the door and attempted to get in. He shot the door 3 times, presumably trying to break the lock. As Pekka failed to enter the classroom, he went to the second floor corridor where he saw 2 students sitting at a bench. As both students tried to flee, only one escaped as Pekka shot the other student 3 times, killing his 7th victim. Pekka had attempted to commit arson by spraying flammable liquid on the corridor wall. However, it never lit up, so that failed. At 11:54 a.m., he went back downstairs to the canteen and tried to enter, but the sliding glass door was locked. He demanded the students inside to unlock the door and proceeded to shoot 5 times through the glass door. Everyone in the canteen managed to escape by going through the other end of the canteen and going into the rooms behind the kitchen. One of the school's teachers, who remained anonymous, states that a lot of his students were in the canteen upstairs and was yelling for the students to run. He says he remembers thinking that this could be his last run and what would happen to his children, who were just 10 years old. He says when he turned around, he saw Pekka at the glass doors, and this is when he realized who was doing the shooting because he thought it was an outsider who came inside the school. As he was looking at Pekka through the glass door, he recalls Pekka shouting something in the lines of, "Come over here and open these doors, or I'll get really angry." Kim says his colleague told him that Pekka's coming, and this is when he saw him at the end of the corridor. Kim was about 25 meters away from Pekka. Kim was shot at as Pekka started to run towards him, but fortunately for Kim, all the bullets missed. He doesn't recall being shot at, but police told him that there were bullet holes around the area where he was standing. By this time, Pekka started coming out, cursing, where he would see the head teacher killing her, just outside the school between the school and the pond. Juho had witnessed this killing. He said he saw her walking outside looking a bit nervous and saw Pekka approach her. He made her go down on her knees, pointed his gun at the back of her neck, and shot her. As Pekka was back inside for some time, he approached a classroom that was at the end of the corridor. This time, the door wasn't locked, and he entered the classroom filled with students who were hiding under their desks and in every corner of the room. One of the students who were in there said he just stood there pointing his gun at them. He tells the students that this was a revolution, school is out forever, the headmistress is dead, and that now they should have fun. As he said all of this, the students just sat still, and according to the said student, this made him upset and fired once at the TV. Still, nobody moved, and Pekka shot once at the window. One of the students grabbed the desk and knocked it over, and this pleased Pekka, as he just said, "Good job," and walked away. The student explains that throughout all of this, Pekka seemed really calm. He was self-assured in a way, content with himself, maybe, content with his performance. That was the impression I got. His behavior was not emotional, like it was planned in a way. It was like he had a good feeling. At 12:04 p.m., police were already at the scene as they arrived around 11:54 p.m. Pekka started to shoot them through the window on the first floor. However, the bullets wouldn't penetrate the window due to the angle he was shooting, so he went near the main entrance and fired twice at the policemen who were trying to give him orders. Pekka then heads into the bathroom on the same floor, where he finally points the gun at himself and pulls the trigger. Out of the 327 ammunition that he brought with him, only 75 were fired. Unfortunately for Pekka, he didn't die immediately. He was rushed to the hospital, where he would die approximately 8 hours later from his injury. Police had rushed to Pekka's home where his parents would be present. His father was asked if his son or his son's gun was in the house. To his father's surprise, he replied with, "What gun?" As they went into Pekka's room, his father had discovered the receipt along with the letter that read, "To my father, mother, and brother."
Kysyttiin, että onko Pekka kotona tai onko Pekan ase kotona. Ja siinä vaiheessa niin putosi melkein tonni tiiliä niskaan, että mikä ihmeen ase. Koska siitä ei ollut mitään tietoa. Ja näillä koulukavereilla sitä tietoa oli silloin jo aikaisemmin. Pojan huoneelta kirjoituspöydän laatikosta sen. Sitten menin vielä penkomaan tonne ja sitten mä löysin sieltä Pekan jättämän viimeisen kirjeen meille, joka oli aseteltuna tietokonepöydän eteen ihan sillä tavalla, että siinä yläpuolella luki isä, äiti ja veli. Ja sitten mä käänsin sen ja luin sen ja sen jälkeen menin shokkiin.
If you were on YouTube during this time, then you may remember being able to comment on people's YouTube channel before the community tab became a thing. You can imagine once it was found out that Pekka, or Sturmgeist89, was the shooter, people ran to his account leaving all sorts of comments both in English and Finnish. I'll read a few of these comments. "You, sir, are a delusional self-superior of the worst kind. Join the club. We give away +5 brass knuckles of the misanthrope." Now the next one is in Finnish, and I'll show the original text and read a rough translation from Google. "Fucking idiot. I hope you die slowly. By creating more pain, did you supposedly eliminate the pain? I hope you're not such a loser that you kill yourself in your fight, so I can see the whole year-long and unhappy life within the rocks inside what you did to the world has not changed, that you were just part of that world. It's machinery, the same shit, an even lower state of it. You are the machine." And lastly, great man. The Amazing Atheist would upload a video titled "I Knew This Would Happen" just hours after the shooting.
You know, for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, the YouTube user, formerly known as NaturalSelector89, and also as Sturmgeist89, decided to go on a little killing spree down in Finland and shoot up his classmates a little bit. I warned you. I went specifically head-to-head with this very kid who committed this act. I made videos directed exactly at him. My video, Natural Selector, is a subpar human. directed right at the man or the boy who would eventually, on this very day, become another mass murderer. I don't really have anything to say. I mean, he was nice to me towards the end of our relationship, which was very tenuous. He wrote me a few times. I ignored him because I felt like I had already done that. I felt like I had already said my piece about him and I didn't really have anything else to say. Right before he went on his shooting rampage, he sent me an IM that said, I apologize for all the past hostilities between us. And I thought to myself at the time, well, that's very nice. I don't know where it's coming from. I don't know why you're suddenly apologizing to me, but thank you. And, I guess he was apologizing because he knew he was going to be dead. Actually, he's not dead, but he tried to kill himself. He tried to blow his brains out. Apparently, he failed. The really sad thing is that he felt bad for even arguing with me. I mean, he felt bad about our arguments. So that shows you that he can look back upon his actions with regret. So, that just goes to show you that he wasn't all fucking bad. And we shouldn't turn him into a monster, and we shouldn't turn him into a hero. We need to think of him as exactly what he was, a pathetic fucking teenager who didn't know that what he was doing was wrong, who had no fucking idea about right or wrong at the time, who was just too fucked up to understand the consequences of his actions in any real way. Thank you.
Someone had posted on an old Columbine forum website asking if it's possible to report someone to the authorities if that person is living in another country. This was posted on November 6th. I have a question. I see someone on the net and it totally looks like he is preparing something and is about to do it. Who can I contact to report it? Just dial 911? Or is there some special place? What about if the person lives in a foreign country? And what are they about to do? If they have, for example, his or her YouTube account or an account on a board. Someone replied saying, you can start here and maybe if they are from another country, they could point you in the right direction. The original poster replied with, too late, I bet. Another user replied with, yup, too late. 7 people, headmaster shot at school in southern Finland. And he leaves a link to an article of the shooting. The rumor was that the night before the shooting, Pekka posted a video on his account saying, if you have anything to say to me, say it now before it's too late. The video in question was him putting the blame on Tanashil for what he's about to do and that she would have blood on her hands. Again, these are rumors and there isn't any proof of this. These claims came from many of Pekka's friends he had on YouTube. As people tried to understand why it happened, some students would go on TV, students who knew Pekka, and say that Pekka was never bullied and think something went off in his head and decided to kill people. Alvina thinks his relationship failing was his breaking point. Juho can't understand what can cause someone to do something like that. However, in the documentary Pekka, there was an anonymous student who stated the following. I now feel so bad about the bullying, even if Pekka was a bad person, but I wanted to hang out with older students and be cool, especially in the eyes of boys. I knew people who bullied Pekka who went on all different talk shows talking about how they had been Pekka's friends and that there was no bullying and that something just snapped in Pekka's head. The truth is that they were absolutely horrible to him and are now lying. They didn't only just call him names. They had tried to humiliate him at parties. Sometimes they were friendly to Pekka, but later they just excluded him and were not his friends. I do understand how horrible it must have been for Pekka. He thought these people were his friends but would never know how they were going to act in school or at parties. I feel that some people enjoyed watching Pekka's loneliness and suffering.
No, ainakin henkilökohtaisesti kyllä voi sanoa, että ihan kaikesta. Ihminen on sillä tavalla rakennettu, että kun jotakin näin hirveää tapahtuu, niin sitä käy läpi koko oman elämänhistoriansa. Kaiken, mitä ajattelee, että olisiko voinut tehdä toisin. Minä sitten monesti kysyin itseltä, että miksi ei olisi Pekka voinut vaan ottaa omaa henkeänsä pois.
Mä en voinut ajatella kuin isänä sitä tapahtumaa, että mulla oli huoli vaan Pekasta. En mä pystynyt kohdistamaan sitä mikään muuhun.
Two days after the shooting, 3 other schools had students post threats online directed towards their school. One in Maninka, where a 16-year-old boy posted a video on YouTube titled Maninka Massacre. The boy was arrested but eventually let go. The student said that the video was just a joke. The Finnish police would receive an overwhelming amount of threats in just a few weeks after the shooting. The Finnish Ministry of the Interior had to make a public statement that if anyone is caught doing so, they could be punished by a fine or imprisonment for up to 2 years. Fortunately, all of these threats were nothing but a hoax. However, someone who was said to be inspired by Pekka would commit the same act as him, killing 10 students.
You will die next.
According to Alvina, about a week after the shooting, they were renovating the school as if they were trying to turn it into another school so that the school would no longer associate with the shooting. She also says that the school would take the students on a couple field trips to help them forget what had just happened and attempt to cheer them up, and she had a hard time grieving. She states that there wasn't any room for grief during those outings. Just a few months after the shooting, Pekka's father would go to the gun store, the same store where Pekka purchased his gun. The owners were surprised to see him there, but they never asked him why, as they figured this was his attempt to understand why his son did what he did. At one point, Pekka's father did mention to one of them that he does not blame them for the shooting, and he said it like he really wanted to get it off his chest. He would show up to the gun store a few times a week for a year. The shooting left a bad reputation towards the gun store Pekka went to, and the two owners mentioned that the entire country had blamed them. They would receive threats, people calling them killers, and on one occasion one of them was spat on. They mentioned that they did not feel any guilt because Pekka would have gotten a gun at any other place. I'd also like to add that Pekka had no criminal record, so it was easy for him to purchase a gun. They continue to say that the only person that is guilty is the person who pulls the trigger. Vaula felt guilty, thinking maybe she could have done something to prevent from Pekka killing others. People have told her that there was nothing she could have done to stop him. She never believed it because, well, how would they know? She would later send a letter to someone who would know. That person is Kip Kinkle, a teenage boy who killed his parents and 2 at his school. He surprisingly answered her letter and told her that there was nothing that would have stopped him from committing his crime, so he assures her that there really was nothing that she could have done to prevent Pekka from killing. As this shooting spread across the internet from discussion forums and news, YouTube eventually deleted Pekka's YouTube channel. On October 8, 2008, Pekka's parents posted a video on YouTube titled "For Our Son," showing images and videos of Pekka. Of course, like many of these mass shooters, Pekka had his own little fan base. This tattoo from some user on Tumblr is an example, but there was one who was so obsessed they faced legal trouble. Someone by the name of Karma was overly obsessed with Pekka. I tried looking up information about them and their charges, but couldn't find much besides the outcome of this case, which I'll get into in a bit. However, this Reddit post claims that she planned on killing 40 people at an elementary. She carried a mini grip bag that contained the soil of Pekka's grave, which she had visited at least 20 times. And she would visit Jokela High School to relive Pekka's rampage and suicide. The Finnish articles I managed to find discussed that the prosecutor wanted her to serve 3 years and 6 months in prison for her threats. But in the end, she was found innocent due to her being considered insane. She managed to avoid prison, but she was sent to a mental hospital because she did not understand what she was doing. It's been 14 years since the shooting, and apparently there has only been one memorial that took place at the school about a year after the incident. According to a chaplain, she states that unless you know the date of the attack, you can find a gravestone in the cemetery, but that's about it. She says there's an iron rail in front of a church that's a reminder of a railway accident that took place nearly 30 years ago in 1996, but there's nothing for the incident in Jokela, despite her saying it's the scariest thing that ever happened here.
Out of the night that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole, I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeonings of chance, my head is bloody but unbowed. Behind this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of shade, and yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how strait the gate, how charged with punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul.